but you are an English business trainer, which I think is just a fascinating job title, because here in the States, it's like, we have business trainers, we have business coaches, we have a specialization in, like, if someone speaks Chinese in this country, they can make a lot of money. I think it's the same thing. It's like, if you speak really good English in Europe or in Asia, you're going to make a lot of money. It's just interesting seeing the title English business trainer. Because in the States, it's just like, what do you need that for? Right? But in Europe, it's huge. So how common is a job title like this? I guess, do a lot of businesses kind of hire on English trainers, especially with an international company?
I think the point is where a lot of people go away from this classical English trainer and say then business English trainer, business communication trainer for English or whatever, is that the pay is lousy. If you just go for language training, there are a lot of like backpack trainers, and basically you don't really make a lot of money until you start putting business into it. Mm-hmm. So business communication skills, business English, English for business, whatever. And I think that's so it's actually getting more common to use different names to move away from the classical low-paid English trainer or English teacher. And maybe that's the reason why. So I think business English trainer isn't that uncommon, but you see more business communication skills and everything. And they even drop the English because they say we're focusing on the communication. We are less focusing on the language. So I think that's also quite interesting because, in my opinion, you cannot separate this. Right. Yeah, you use language to communicate, so you cannot teach language without communication, vice versa.
Well, you also you're tweaking the language. It's funny. You're like, all right, we'll change the verbiage up a little bit. All of a sudden, hey, my salary's doubled. I'm doing the exact same job. This is how you call it.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
That's funny. That's a little mental gymnastics there. All right, so clearly, for this kind of a job, you need strong communication skills. And I say the same thing as a podcaster. As a podcast host, you need communication skills. Luckily, with podcasting, it's as easy as you just talk to people. You talk to people every day. Those skills transfer over. So I guess in your opinion, as a trainer in this kind of stuff, what is the key to strong communication skills?
Listening and reflection.
Reflection.
I think a lot of people do not really reflect about what they say and what the impact on the listener is. And then they don't really reflect enough about what they hear. So what the other people might want to get across and might say to them. And I think that's possibly more important. Really, I have people at an A1 level, which is a pretty low level. So it's like false beginners. But they are such great communicators because they really listen and they really know how they get their agenda across and how to make themselves understood, that if they are at the negotiation table, you do not want to be on the other side. Mm-hmm. So, and I have some people who got great language skills. So they can understand Shakespeare and they can write fantastic essays. But you read the essay and go like, can you shorten the sentences? This is not legible. I can't understand what you're writing about because my brain cannot process a sentence that's half a page long. Yeah. So, and I think that's really the reflection. You're talking to someone, you're writing for someone. Who are you writing to? Who are you talking to? What do they expect? What do they need to know? And I think this is basically what I usually start with.
I love you said the reflection. Reflection is huge because I had Alan Schoenberg on front of the show. He's a chief communications officer in like different corporate America companies, and his big thing was listening. People need to listen more, and I completely agree. Listening is kind of a lost art nowadays. Another thing podcasting really helps me with, makes me a way better listener.